Hi guys, welcome back. Very good evening, all of you. So today, let us learn about strategic control, which is in our chapter 5 of strategic management. Okay. So as you know, there are 5 chapters and fifth chapter is the biggest one with 90 pages, more than 90 pages of study material in ICI textbook. The document I have opened is the latest version of ICI study material, which is applicable from 2025 onwards. Okay. So this is the overall overview of the chapter. These are the topics they have given in first page, and then these are the contents in a nutshell. Okay, so they said interrelationship between strategy formulation and implementation. This we have seen. Strategic change through digital transformation, which is given in 5.3, which we'll see now. Organization structure, hard and soft organization structure and culture, all these things we have seen. Strategic leadership we have seen. Now we are speaking about this aspect, strategic control. And then they have given strategic performance measures that we'll see later. So today's agenda is learning strategic control. Okay. So they have given a beautiful diagram in page number 5.3. So look here, just spend 10 seconds, 20 seconds of time in understanding the diagram. Just read the diagram. We have done this before also, but I want you to revise it again. Okay. So if you look at the diagram, which is prepared by Fred R. David, at the bottom of diagram, you can see three important words: formulation, implementation, evaluation. So this means strategy formulation phase, strategy implementation phase, and strategy evaluation phase. So now that we have covered chapter 1, 2, 3, 4 already, we have learned so many concepts in these 4 chapters and we came to fifth chapter. I don't need to tell you that there are various phases, like, we'll develop vision and mission statement. Then we define the objectives. Before that, we do environmental analysis for external environment, organization appraisal for internal environment. We'll do SWOT analysis, special analysis, and then we generate, analyze, and select strategies. So that is the first 4 boxes here. That is about the first 4 boxes. So this is formulation of a strategy. Now, the background of the scenario is that, one, we have already done all these things. We formulated strategy, then we implemented strategy also. Now, the strategy implementation is ongoing. So, ongoing strategy implementation, how will we monitor? How will we evaluate? And how will we control? So, we reached the third phase. So, the summary is we formulated strategy, we implemented strategy, we started implementing strategy. So, the ongoing strategy is to be evaluated and reviewed. That is where we are. So, we are here. So, what is the meaning of strategic control? What is the meaning of evaluation? What do we do in this phase? We are going to learn in this particular class. Okay. So before that, if you see, they have given 5 steps in strategic management process, which we have already studied. And at the risk of your repetition, we are doing it once again. Crafting and execution of strategy are the heart and soul of managing a business enterprise, of course. But exactly what is involved in developing a strategy and executing it proficiently? And who besides top management has strategy formulation execution responsibility? This is something in general they have given. I want you to note from here. What are the stages in strategic management process? There are 5 stages. Can you read this? Ashwati, are you there?
Yes.
Yes. Can you read this, please?
Strategic management involves the following stages: developing a strategic vision and formulation of statement of mission, goals, and objectives,
Yes.
environmental and organizational analysis,
Okay.
formulation of strategy, implementation of strategy, strategic evaluation, and control.
Excellent. So then they have explained this stage 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in detail, which already we have seen and covered. So now we are going to we are going to strategic control. So I have also prepared a short notes here. For strategic control, I have also prepared a short notes. Now tell me one thing. What is the meaning of the word control? Do you remember in the first session of strategic management in the introduction, first today I have given you the definition and meaning of management. The functions of management are explained there. And I have given you an acronym, functions of management, postcard, POST, You remember this postcard? You can remember all the functions of management I told you. In that P, planning, O, organizing, S, staffing, C, D, directing, C, controlling. So, step one, control is a basic managerial activity. Control is a basic managerial activity. If you are manager of any organization at any level, you can be top level manager, you can be middle level manager, you can be lower level manager, you can be supervisor, you can be in charge of operations, you can be in charge of production. So whatever the function it is, if you have managerial level, if you have manager responsibilities, control is one of the basic responsibilities. So what is control now? Just ensuring whether the work is, going smooth, and whether your journey, the way in which the activities of the business enterprise are carried on, the way in which the business activities are carried on, whether are they as per the plan or deviating from the plan. I want to do this. Am I doing it actually? So the top level management said, this is the plan. Then we started implementing the plan. So I am trying to ensure whether the work is going smoothly in the direction required, or is there any deviation. Pavan sir, everything is going as per the plan. Superb. I don't need to control. Pavan sir, something is wrong. We are deviating from the objectives. We are deviating from the standards. We are deviating from the milestones. We are deviating from the prescribed process. We are not able to do what we wanted to do. That is where you need control. Okay, so now look at the definition. Strategic control is essential for monitoring and evaluating. This is the phase we are in, correct? We are in evaluation and monitoring phase. 5 phases of strategic management process, 5 stages. In that, we are in the 5th stage. What is this? It is evaluating and monitoring the progress of strategic plan. That means you already started implementing plan. What is the progress? What is the progress you achieved? So it is something like, you have a building plan in your hand. Architect has given building plan, the blueprint for construction of your building. And then the contractor started constructing the building. It will go, say, for example, 3 years. Now, this is, say, 7th month. You are looking at the ongoing strategy or implementation of this particular plan, and you are checking whether everything is going as per the blueprint you have in hand or not. So you started implementing the plan. Now, what is the progress of the plan? Point number one, what is the progress of the plan? Step one. Step two, ensure. You are ensuring that organization is moving towards its objectives. It is not moving away from objectives. Pavan sir, this is the process. Pavan sir, this is the target. Pavan sir, this is our performance indicator. Pavan sir, this is what I wanted to achieve. This is what we are working for. So are you moving towards achieving that, or are you moving away from that? It involves performance standard setting. So one, you need to set the performance standard. I want this. Say, for example, if one laborer is working in one factory, you have to set the standard. I want this laborer to complete 80, for example, 80 units of production today. So before he goes home, I want him to manufacture 80 units of, say, for example, one item. So you set the performance standard. Performance standard can be your earnings per share. Performance standard can be your return on investment. Performance standard can be your net profit. Performance standard can be your operating profit. So you're setting a performance standard, step one. Then compare the actual performance with the standard. You wanted to achieve earnings per share of 5 rupees. what is the actual EPS for the year. So it is something like budget. You have set a standard and you are measuring actual and seeing whether you are on the track. Pawan sir, I wanted to achieve 25% return on investment. I have achieved 22.4%. So you wanted to achieve 25% of profit rate. You achieved 22.4 something. Why is the difference? What is the difference? Why is the difference? And if required, take the corrective action. If required, take the corrective action. So this one, corrective action. So there are 3 steps. Step 1, set the standard. Step 2, compare the actual performance and the standard performance. Step 3, take corrective action if needed. That's all. So this is basically any control, not only strategic control. This first paragraph is basically any control. Any control is like that. Now, what is the definition of strategy control? It is the process of tracking strategy as it is being implemented. If you remember, time and again, repeatedly, I told you formulated strategy, you implemented strategy. While the strategy is being implemented, you are tracking, you are monitoring to detect any issues. Are there any deviations? Are there any issues? Are there any adjustments necessary? Do I need to do any adjustments? So detecting issues, what are the deviations, and making adjustments as necessary. This is the meaning. It ensures that an organization remains on track to achieve its strategic goals. So you have a strategic goal. So you should be on track to achieve it. This is the definition of strategic control. So now I'll give you 20 seconds of time. Read point number 1 and 2. What is strategic control? What is the definition? What is the importance? These two I want you to read. Shruti, can you read second part, please?
Yes, importance of strategic control.
Hmm.
Helps organizations respond to internal and external changes effectively.
Okay.
Ensure resources are used efficiently and aligned with strategic priorities.
Mhm.
Reduces risks by identifying potential issues early in the implementation process.
So these 3 bullet points are bringing up 3 very important and significant aspects. 3 very, very, very important factors, key factors. First one is, how do you respond to internal and external environmental changes? If there is a change in government policy, how am I responding? If there is a change in taxation rate, how am I responding? If there is any change in customer demands or specifications, how am I responding? If there is any change in the technology, how am I responding? So that is step 1. The first one is how the organization is responding to internal and external changes. Second thing, resource utilization. Management is all about leadership, and management is all about how effectively you utilize your resources and how do you prioritize what I want, how do I use this. This is second aspect. Third thing is reducing the risk. How can I manage the risk? How can I avoid the risk? How can I reduce the risk? In the strategy implementation process, there can be so many potential risks. There are so many threats. There are so many concerns. How can I perceive them? How can I, visualize them much ahead of actual threat happening, actual risk happening, and how can I reduce it? These are the 3 aspects. And then in the third part, types of strategic control, they have given 4 very important controls. One is premise control. Premise. What is the meaning of premise? Premise means assumption. First one is premise control. Second one is implementation control. Third one is surveillance. Strategic surveillance we call. And fourth one is special alert control. These 4 are very, very, very important. And ICI might test any of this in the examination for CA intermediate students. So the first one is, when we developed strategy, if again you remember the diagram we have started with, you have done some internal analysis, you have done some external environmental analysis, and then you identified certain factors from internal, external environment, and then you have some perceptions, premises, or assumptions of certain factors. For example, we are sitting in 2024. We are at the end of 2024. So 2025 is just in few days, right? So what would be the GDP rate in 2025? What would be the inflation rate? What would be the repo rate or reverse repo rate? How RBI is going to change its policies on rates or something? How the government bonds yield will change? So we have some expectations, right? The production might probably go like this. The market conditions probably go like this. The competitor probably do like this. So these are the assumptions, your estimations. That may go wrong. That may go wrong. So you are, in this particular phase of premise control, you are rethinking, you are reflecting, you are monitoring. My strategy is based on so and so assumption. Is that assumption holding good now, or is there any change in the assumption? That is what first control is. It focuses on the assumptions underlying the strategy. Is this assumption still valid today? Is this assumption still valid today? Say, for example, in particular geography, say, for example, in South Bangalore, okay, one assumption based on last 4 years, 5 years data, one assumption. People prefer, just for example, I'm telling you, this is not reality. This is not based on any research. Just for the sake of classroom example, I'm telling you. So in South Bangalore, people eat pizzas more than burgers. Okay, so the number of pizzas sold is more than the number of burgers sold. Okay, this is what the data could be, or this is what the assumption is. Now, when I started, making my food products accordingly, whether that assumption is still valid today, I started my production, or I started my year with an assumption. And now 6 months is over, 7 months over, 8 months over, 1 year over, or in a 5 year plan, 2 years over. So is that assumption based on which I developed strategy, is it still valid today? That is called premise control. Second one is implementation control. So the steps taken for implementation, are they effective? I have taken some steps. Pavan sir, to implement this plan, I am doing step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Are they effective, or do they need any adjustment? That is called implementation control. Read this. Examines whether the steps taken to implement a strategy are effective and whether they need adjustment. This is second control. What is first control? Premise control. What is second control? Implementation control. What is third control? Strategic surveillance. Now, strategic surveillance is a broader word. So you have put one CCTV camera and then there is a board. You are under electronic or surveillance, camera surveillance. Means you are just monitoring in general. So why the camera is put there? In general, monitoring. So you are looking at the events just to observe, to identify, are there any unexpected developments? So there is one security guard who is sitting in front of the monitor. There are 30 CCTV cameras in that shopping mall, and all the 30 monitors is observing. So is there any unexpected shock or unexpected event that happened which needs your immediate attention? Oh my God, it is happening like this in camera 22, so we need to do so and so. Like that. So you are just vigilant. You are not blind. You opened your eyes and you are on a macro level, on a broader level. You are monitoring internal events, external events to see if there is any unexpected development. For example, Trump has become president again today. What will be the impact of it? Will it create any ripple, which is positive, which is negative? How will it affect my strategy? So, strategic surveillance involves broader monitoring of internal and external events to identify any unexpected development that might affect the strategy. This is third one. And the fourth one is special alert control. This is specific. Third one is generic. Fourth one is specific. For example, some natural disaster happened, some catastrophe, or what you call some disaster, some economic crisis, some recession, or some pandemic. It could be COVID. It could be something else. So something happened. How do you adjust your organization towards that? So special alert control is, this is triggered by sudden unexpected events. What are the examples I have given? Economic crisis, natural disaster. This require immediate attention. This require immediate attention. And sometimes it requires significant adjustments to the strategy, not small adjustments, significant, big adjustments to the strategy. So these are four types of strategy control. What are they? Premise control, implementation control, strategic surveillance, special alert control. Okay. Okay. So as I tell you always, ICI can ask you a wholesale question or a retail question. What is a wholesale question? What are various types of strategic control? Then you need to write all the four. Wholesale question. Or they might ask you for 5 marks. What do you mean by premise control? Then you need to write for 5 marks on this particular thing. Okay. Process. You remember in the first definition itself, I said this is the process. Set the performance standard, comparing the actual, and then making any deviations, corrective actions necessary. This. So simple. Setting the standards. It can be financial performance, it can be market share, it can be earnings per share, it can be return on investment. Then measure the performance. What is the key performance indicator? KPI. What is the key performance indicator? And how you are achieving it. Compare standard performance and actual performance. Take corrective action. This is what we have discussed. Then there are certain key techniques which you do not need to know in detail. There is something called balanced scorecard approach, benchmarking approach, creating responsibility centers. This we'll not discuss now. If it is discussed in detail in ICA study material at some other point, then we'll do. Because in the last chapter previously, business process reengineering and benchmarking, this two, total quality management and Six Sigma, all these things are discussed extensively in the old scheme, not 2024 or 2023 old scheme. 2 3 years back, these 3 4 years back, these are there. But after that, they changed the content. So I do not want to explain anything which is not required for you. Balanced scorecard approach is not explained in detail anywhere in the study material. Total quality management is not there now. But here and there, they use the words something like continuous improvements, which is actually TQM. Okay, which comes from something called Kaizen technique. So we don't need to spend more time on these things. We'll see if at all it is required. I'll explain. But what are the key techniques for strategic control? There can be a balanced scorecard approach. There can be benchmarking approach, and there can be creation of responsibility centers. Okay. Now, let us go to our beautiful ICI study material and see. I'll just show you where is this strategic control. This is digital transformation. We'll come back to digital transformation later. Organization framework, already we have covered this. If you remember, McKinsey, the 7 stages framework we have covered, and Chandler's matrix we have covered, diagram, and then structures we have covered, functional structure, matrix structure, divisional structure, SBU structure, all these things we have covered. So let us go to strategic control. Dear strategic control, where are you? Hourglass model, culture we have covered. Leadership. So probably somewhere here, we'll see control also. Strategic control. Okay, what did I say? It is one of the functions of management. Each and every phrase I use, each and every word I use them very carefully. Okay, so if you understand even these phrases in bits and pieces, you can collect, you can put them into a sentence which will be meaningful. So control, the process of control. So all of you, can you read this 1 2 3 4? I'm not going to read them. I want you to read it for yourself. A, B, C. The process of control. I have explained already. I want you to read it. So first one is setting the standard. Second one is measuring the actual performance. Third one is comparing actuals and standards, detect deviation, and what corrective actions we need to take. D, corrective action. That's all. Now, there are three types of control. Oh my gosh, this is very important. One is operational control, third layer. Third layer. Remember triangle. Remember triangle. Strategic, this management triangle, management pyramid. Top level, middle level, lower level. Lower level is also known as operational level. Okay, functional level. So the control can happen at operational level, which is called operational control. Control can happen at management level, middle level. It can be all the levels, middle level. Strategic control. So what is operational level? What is operational level? Here you are considering one particular operation. Say, for example, supply chain. Say, for example, storage of goods in a godown. Say, for example, inventory control. How do I control my inventory? Should I apply EvoQ technique? What should be the reorder point? What should be the reorder level? What should be the safety stock? From which supplier I should procure materials? What controls you put here? This is called operational control. So, Ashwati, can you read this particular paragraph, please?
Operational control. The thrust of operational control is on individual tasks or transactions as against total or more aggregate management functions. For example, procuring specific items for inventory is a matter of operational control, in contrast to inventory management as a whole.
Okay.
One of the tests that can be applied to identify operational control areas is that there should be a clear cut and somewhat measurable relationship between inputs and outputs, which could be predetermined or estimated with least uncertainty.
Okay. So, what they are saying is, am I speaking about aggregative management function? Broader level? No. So, what am I speaking about? I'm speaking about one of the aspects of aggregate management. So, inventory management is a broader term. Under inventory management, say, for example, production control or quality control or inspection. These things are parts of it. So, they have given here. So, you are formulating standards for what? Production control, stock levels, quality control, cost control, budgetary control. These are operational level controls. At functional level, you do for see. I do not want to use the word micromanagement because micromanagement is considered to be a bad word now. But actually, you are focusing on one aspect of operations and you are, drilling it deeper. This is operational control. Next one is management control. Management control is, say, for example, you're not speaking about the entire organization. For example, ITC, whole corporate. You're not speaking about ITC as a corporate, but you are speaking about one subunit. Say, for example, I have 10 business units. I'm speaking about one business unit. I have 4 production centers. I'm speaking about the production center which is in Chennai, which is not being run properly. So I'm focusing on one particular subunit. We are not speaking about the entity as a whole, organization as a whole. We are speaking about one subunit. That is management control. Now, obviously, what is strategic control? I'm speaking about whole organization. So if I am trying to control the whole organization strategy, it becomes strategic control. If I am, thinking of one subunit of the organization, it is management control. If I am speaking about one part of one function or operations, it is called operational control. Is this clear? Now, look here. What is management control? The process by which managers assure the resources are obtained and used effectively and efficiently. Resources are obtained and used effectively and efficiently. How? To accomplish organization's objective. So whatever the controls are necessary there, you are keeping controls there. You understand? This is management control. Now strategic control. We have already studied all this types of strategic control, premise control, environmental factors, inflation, liquidity, interest rates, technology, then social factors, legal factors, regulatory factors, industry factors such as competitors. So this is premise control. What are your assumptions on these things? Two, strategic surveillance. We have discussed about this. Three, special alert control. We have discussed. Four, implementation. We have covered this. They have given one diagram also. Don't worry much about diagram. If you understand that four types, that is enough. That's all. So we have covered this. Three levels of controls we have seen: strategic level control, management level control, operational control. Four types of controls we have seen. That's all. With this, we have completed control, which is in 5.6. Now, 5.7 is strategic performance measures. How do we put strategic performance measures? SPM we call. We'll see in the next session. Okay. So any doubts till now in whatever we have discussed?